Effie, you want to go outside, Effie? Let's see where the cat is. Come on, sweetie, you want to go outside? Come on, we'll go outside. Let's see if she wants to go out. That way, I can talk to you guys and take her outside and accomplish two things at once here. So what up, whoever's here? I see there's one person for now. Welcome. Getting a little coffee made over here. I just prefer black coffee, so. But these little mugs, sometimes, like, it gathers coffee around the lip, so I don't know. I need to kind of like wash the coffee thing a little bit. All right. Effie, you want to go outside? I know it's a bit early for a stream, so maybe I'll pop on later, but I saw somebody was waiting, so I was like, you know what? Let me just pop in and see if anyone wants to come. So let's also see if I can share the link to the live stream here on Facebook and YouTube. Which I can. What's up, everybody? Whoever's here. I'm just trying to share the link for the live stream right now on the computer, but we can hang out for a bit. Let me know if you need anything or have any questions. I'm honestly just trying to take the cat outside right now and then kind of multitask with you. So what's going on, Crescent, Agape? Thank you. Jay, what up, guys? I am just attempting to post the live stream link real quick on our Facebook page, and then I will solely be here and all yours. But what's up, Reptilinks? Go ahead, start some conversations, ask some questions. You can hear, that's good. Was somebody not able to hear? So if you want to see what I'm doing, I'm just posting up the link right now, which I normally don't do to Facebook, but I want to start promoting the live links on Facebook so that we can get that audience tuning in as well. So bear with me, guys, but welcome, and I appreciate you guys being here. If you got some questions, let me know. I see your question, Crescent. We're going to get to that here in a sec. We got our Black Knight outcrosses to lock after the male shed. When he arrived, he was actually a lot darker. Nice. Yeah, sometimes Black Knights can kind of fire up and fire down like crested geckos. Like they'll get darker or, you know, more colorful, which in this case is dark or less. But that's really cool. We actually got 3 of our Black Knights to breed so far. 1 is only laying infertile eggs. The other one decided not to lay eggs. And the third one, I'm really hopeful for the third one. It's a bigger girl. She looks like she's going to lay really nice. Future breeding. So our goals, Reptilink, we actually have some cool projects. We want to take Black Knight into the Fasciolatus bloodline because the Fasciolatus bloodline only has pattern on the top. Magandang umaga, Andrew. So with only pattern on the top, it would create kind of like a cool black striped gecko. That's the goal, at least. We also, you guys know that I'm open with the Lemon Frost project, and we are working the Lemon Frost into Fasciolatus and Afghanicus. I'm really excited about Afghanicus because Afghanicus is a very yellow gecko, and the Lemon Frost is a very yellow coloration as well. So hopefully we can get some tumor-free geckos that way. and kind of get some stuff flowing. Let's see if I can make a post from my computer on IG. I don't think I can, so I'm not going to worry about it. You guys are here. I'm going to pay attention to you guys. So I was also trying to multitask and get my cat outside. Yeah, let me know how that goes, Crescent, because we are going to try to get the Black Knight into the Giant project as well. Another thing that we're working on here is continuing our Tangerine bloodlines. So we really want to continue enhancing the Tangerine bloodlines. And so we're holding back a lot of babies this year. Yeah, lemon frost animals are more prone to developing tumors. So not every lemon frost animal does develop tumors. And it's a very new gene and it hasn't really been thoroughly recorded or tested, in my opinion. So we do have some over here that we are testing. The Asian market has been breeding them for years. The European market has been breeding them for years. I was just talking to an Asian breeder and they were saying that they don't really have a huge problem with tumors. The American market, it's pretty frowned upon if you're working with the lemon frost gene in general. So, you know, there's been a lot of controversy around that lately and, you know, myself, but I'm just trying to like stay humble, stay focused on you guys, answer your questions and kind of just be open and honest as I can. So, let's see. Check out Jelly Bean's babies right here are looking awesome. Look at these gals right here. So this is the continuation of our Tangerine line. You can see this is a reverse stripe right here, and the stripe turns purple after time. Those grayish markings on that gecko is going to turn bright green. And that's generally what happens with tangerines. Their grays will turn green when they're albino, and their blacks will turn purple when they're not albino. So this one hatched out with a pure black stripe down its back, and now that stripe is turning purple because that's what happens. And it's really hard to see, but it also has green hues developing. You can see right there a patch of green on its side. And thankfully, we were able to hatch out 2 healthy-looking males to add to our Tangerine collection here. Because we are incubating mostly for females this year, 98% of our babies are going to be females so that we can have a lot of females in production next year. We are scheduled next year to have, so far, probably about 40 Tangerine females. I mean, think about that for a second. 40 Tangerine females that are going to have, you know, high diversity of orange coloration. And so we're hoping these 2 little males right here can get us, they were just born the other day, so they're really, really small. But these came from the most orange male we have and the most orange female we have. So very excited about these guys. They might even be eclipse. If you look on our Instagram, you can see that they have red eyes, which happens sometimes with babies in general because babies' blood vessels are so big in their eyes that it just makes the whole eye look red. Like, see, you can see right there, the eyes look red. But that also happens if the gecko is eclipse. And these geckos did come from eclipse parents, so there is a chance that the gecko will be eclipse. Or the geckos can be eclipse. So, as you can see, we've been testing out ambient temperature in this room. When I need to make the room hotter, I open the blinds like this. And when I need to make the room cooler, I close the blinds. Because you can see at night, that sun is just shining in from the west side and really heats up this room. So even on the cooler side of the room, it's almost 90 degrees. None of these babies are on heat tape. None of them. That's just tape that was going to go underneath the heat tape. So not much, Jacob. Just talking geckos and talking projects, Tangerine projects, our Lemon Frost projects, our Black Knight projects. So this may seem like a weird question, but I'm curious. But what could you put a hatchling with the mother? Yeah, you can put a hatchling with the mother. All of our Tangerine geckos came from 2 parents. This female right here. So we invested a decent amount of money into this female. She was about $350 just for her. And we also did the same with this male. He was about $350 as well for different reasons. She was $350 because she was like super, super orange. He was $350 because he had purple and greenish colorations to him. So we wanted to combine the two. I wanted to make a gecko that was had green hues, purple hues, and deep orange hues. So that's why I purchased these two. And literally, that was 3 years ago. The first year we incubated for all females, so we made all females. And the second year we bred the dad back to the mom, and we incubated for mom and the daughters, and we incubated for males. And then we got some males going. So first year we made a bunch of females. Second year we made a bunch of males. Third year, which is this year, we are making more females, with the exception of a couple males. So as far as our Tangerine project is concerned, it comes from 2 straight geckos, straight up, just 2 geckos. So you can absolutely do that. My recommendation is pick 2 geckos that have great quality, and then you could line breed after that, so that every generation gets better and better and better. So I'm gonna check one more time if the cat wants to go out. She's kind of being a little sleepy poo. But she didn't get her outside time today, and I want to try to get her outside time. Oh, it doesn't want me to rotate the device. So, let's see. I'm going to actually kind of coax her out here so that we can take her outside. Oh, hi, sweetie. You want to go outside? Want to go outside? Oh, she's so cute. I got to show you guys. Come on, sweetie, you want to go outside? You want to say hi to everyone? Where are you? Where'd you go? Oh, she's saying hi, if you can hear her. Oh, she went deeper into the blankie, so I'll just tell her, come on, Effie, you want to go outside? And if she doesn't come, then you guys might be more lucky, and we'll just stay in the gecko room. But if she comes, I want to take her outside, so that she can get some outside time today. And I'll talk to you guys, answer questions. Yeah, she's such a sweet kitty. My female gave me 3 clutches of eggs on the 4th. Oh wait, on the 4th clutch. Gave me 3 clutch of eggs on the 4th clutch. It only have 1 egg. Do you have any idea why it's like that? What should I do? Repair the female. If eggs start to go infertile, or if the females are only laying 1 egg, the best thing to do is to repair the female, get more sperm into her from the male. It does not guarantee that you will get 2 eggs, because we get plenty of females that only lay 1 egg. Some females don't lay any eggs. Some females reabsorb their clutches. So bad things can happen, but you stand the best chance of continuing on that DNA if you put more sperm into the girl. So repair the male to the female would be my suggestion there. Well, we are expecting Dumeral's boa babies soon, like any day now. Dumeral's boas, unlike other boas, they are not known to have huge clutches, which is kind of like the only downside. Because other than that, they grow bigger than most ball pythons, so they're really cool, but they are smaller than your typical boa, so that makes it cool. They grow to be about 7 to 8 feet, which is a very manageable size, and they have the best demeanor, guys. They have great attitudes in general compared to pythons or boas. So we're excited. We have a pair of them over here, and we're hoping for babies any day now. It's kind of different for boas. They take like 3 months to hold babies in their stomach, and then they bear them live. They're live bearers, so it's pretty cool. And of course, we got all our ball pythons back in the gecko room. Legs are killing me. I'm literally exhausted. Prescott had a small race for cash rodeo. Oh yeah, that would be tiring. So the young Leos are doing great, Idris. We have all of these are Leos right here. So There's 2 in here. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Most of these have 2. But as you can see, to get back from to your question from the other person, sometimes they only lay 1 egg, right? So this was from this mom, we only got 1 good egg out of that. But the babies are growing like weeds, guys. Let's check out some of our first. Here's some of our first 2 babies right here. They're almost ready for juvenile size cages already, and they poop like crazy too. Ooh, their color is coming in nice. This is the time that you can really look forward to the color developing. It's hard to capture on film, but you can see one baby is actually bigger than the other. The one on the right is bigger and more colorful. As they get up to that 3-month mark, that's when their colors will start to look the best. But this one is looking really good right now. I'm going to have to try to take a picture of her tonight. This girl right here. And put it on Instagram because she's looking fabulous. So yeah, the babies are doing great. These were our first 2 Tangerine babies of the year and our first 2 Leopard Gecko babies of the year. And all the babies are now becoming, now they're getting really, really big. Like, they are definitely putting on some size. I always like to check. See, this was only 1 baby. This was Jelly Bean's first baby of the year, for anyone who's a Jelly Bean fan. And this gecko is a Tangerine Eclipse. And you can see what the Eclipse does to Tangerine. Most of the time, it washes out that orange coloration so that the gecko is left with more of a kind of yellowish brown coloration. It's one of the things with Eclipse that we are trying to improve, right? So that's why we are keeping back the best geckos that hold their orange color and are Eclipse at the same time, and albino, because ultimately the ultimate goal is an all red eyes orange gecko. And so far, the closest that we got to that is not this guy right here. This is our male. Is it this guy? Yeah, I think this is our male Ruby. I always call him Ruby because he has like ruby red eyes, and he has really nice Tangerine for an Eclipse gecko, for an Eclipse and albino gecko. He's actually very nice, and definitely have plans to breed him to. We definitely have plans to breed him to our Eclipse Tangerine geckos so that we can make Eclipse geckos that are more and more Tangerine as time goes on. So let's see if I can kind of get an eye shot of him. Now, albinos do have more sensitive eyes, and as you can see, the sun is in here, so I'm trying to like block it from him. But he's closing his eyes. But you can see he has very nice Tangerine coloration, and he is an Eclipse. That's a little bit more rare to find because usually Eclipses will forego or give up all of their Tangerine color, if not a lot of it. So we are very happy to have this guy, and we're definitely going to be breeding him to other females that are Eclipse and in our Tangerine bloodlines to continue enhancing that coloration. There's a little eye open. All right, sweet boy, we're going to put you back. So yeah, the rest of the babies are doing good though. They're growing like weeds. They're only a month or some of them a few weeks old, and they're growing like crazy. So that just shows you that you actually don't need any additional heat source if you can get your room up to 90 degrees at some point during the day. Thank you, whoever just donated that $5. That is awesome. Camilleones, thank you so much, brother. I love you, man. I love all you guys, but thank you for that donation. That helps our cause here so much. Really appreciate it. This little bugger right here is probably my favorite thing of the year. It is a room heater. And so I have it set so that at night, this room gets about, I want to say 86 degrees at night. This room stays 86 degrees at night. And then during the day, you can see right now, it was just 90 a second ago, but it gets up to like 90. And therefore, you don't need any additional heat source. Oh man, Camilleone's coming in with an additional round of $10. That is so nice of you, brother. I appreciate it. Let me put my face on camera. East Coast love right there, my man, because I think that's where you're from, right? New York. And then I was from New Jersey when I moved out here to Arizona. Um, but East Coast will always have a spot in my heart. And I actually started buying baggy clothes again. And my wife is like, "You're reverting to who you used to be as a teenager." So, but thank you so much, Chameleones. That helps so much to continue our projects over here, so that next year we can really have some really nice quality geckos. We could keep back a lot this year and have some nice ones next year. So yeah, this was another gecko that was the only one that was born. So you can see, yeah, it was the only one that was born. Oh, you're from New Jersey. That's right. That is right. Yeah, I was from Edison, which is in central Jersey. This gecko right here, all of those brown markings are going to turn bright green. So that's something that you can expect when you're working with tangerine geckos. The babies, when they come out, they will have those kind of like grayish, brownish markings. The yellow will turn orange and the brown will turn bright green. It's pretty crazy. Thanks, Chameleones. Yeah, my business partner and I, we were just discussing how, if we do sell geckos this year, it's going to be with in maybe like 2 months from now, because we still have plenty of geckos that are hatching, but we want to keep back pretty much all of these babies right here so that they will be ready to breed by the end of this year. Guys, that's the wonderful thing about leopard geckos. If you're just getting into leopard geckos, ball pythons take 2 to 3 years before you can breed them. Crested geckos take 1.5 to 2 years before you can breed them. Gargoyle geckos, same thing. Leopard geckos, 6 to 8 months, and you could be breeding that thing. It's really, really cool. Do you breed especially for the green ones? Yeah, that's why we got our dad right here. I actually named him Skittles, as you can see, because as a baby, his colors were like the rainbow. So he has orange. He also has green coloration and purple coloration. And so a lot of our specific line of tangerines does have green hues in them because of this guy. And then once we get the best green and orange geckos, we're going to pair it to one of our white and yellows that has such high quality green to him. You can see like his head is just fantastic. It's kind of hard to see his green and orange undertones, but this is a white and yellow gecko. For anyone who doesn't know, white and yellow is probably the best thing that you can combine tangerine with, because it creates it makes the colors on the tangerine even brighter. It makes the colors on any gecko that you have brighter. So we made a bunch of white and yellows this year. This is that guy's son right here, and you can see just how like pale and bright yellow he is. Like that is not a normal yellow for leopard geckos. Most leopard geckos are a dark brownish yellow. This guy is actually a really clear and bright yellow. So, so whenever you mix white and yellow with a gecko, it's going to enhance the color like crazy. And that guy was actually the son of this girl right here. She is not a white and yellow, but look how yellow that girl is. Through many years of selective breeding, we bought this girl, and look, she has a little omega sign on her head, a little ohm sign. But we bought this girl like this. So she was very, very selectively bred for some good quality. That clear back and that clean of a yellow coloration, that is not normal, guys. That is many years of selective breeding. So I've tried to do a really good job of handpicking and buying the best geckos over the last 3 years so that our company can produce the best geckos for you guys. And of course, our goal is quality geckos for a quality price. And so, any super chats we get, any donations we get is super helpful because it helps support this business to bring you guys great quality animals for also great quality pricing. So you can line breed white and yellow, yes. So, I mean, this year I did it. I bred a white and yellow to other geckos, to females that were white and yellow. I bred the male too. So you could do that, absolutely. Pretty sure I've caused my friends to fall in love with my geckos. They're always saying, "Let me see the one brain cell," smiling Waddle lizards. You know, guys, there is almost no better entry level lizard than the leopard gecko, right? It offers easy handleability, ease of care, and also a very cool aspect of a hunter, right? Like if you want to see a lizard hunt, which is one of the reasons why we buy lizards, a leopard gecko is definitely gonna fulfill that desire of yours. So what's up, Janelle? Reptilinks. Crested geckos are also one of the best. As you know, we had this whole debate with Wally, and I let him get the victory. And then afterwards, I was thinking about it. I was like, what didn't I mention about leopard geckos that could have made them more alluring to people, you know? And I respect Wally, and we were on his channel, so I definitely didn't want to like take too many digs at him and let him have his glory. He's earned his glory. But you guys have to admit that leopard geckos, one of the things that they possess that crested and gargoyle geckos don't is their hunting ability. You normally don't see crested and gargoyle geckos hunting in the same way as leopard geckos. Leopard geckos are like little T-Rexes, little Tyrannosaurus Rexes running around and just killing stuff. So thanks for responding to my email sent to Full Body. Thank you, Janelle. I will take a look at that. I appreciate anyone who sends me an email. I will always try to get back to you. Please try to be patient with me through the emails because as we are becoming more popular, you see there's like 13 people in here right now. As we are becoming more popular because of you guys liking our content and sharing, there are a lot of people that ask questions, and so I try as much as possible to get to everyone's questions. So please, please, please just be patient with me, and I promise you I will do my best to get back to you because every question is important, you know. So I will check out those pictures later, Janelle, and respond as well. So one thing that I'm seeing a lot of questions that I get are people worried about the health of their gecko. Like my gecko's not eating or it's hanging out on the cool side. And one thing I just want to say in reference to that, there might be something medically wrong with your gecko. Don't get me wrong, there might be. But a lot of times, and I fall into this as well, I'm a worrier, right? As soon as something does not look right, I'm like, okay, something is wrong, something is crazy. I need to make a dramatic change. But in the end, sometimes the gecko just needs a little bit of time to do whatever it needs to do. And I will use the example of my female albino leopard gecko over here that just decided one day she wasn't going to eat for 6 months. I thought she had a parasite. She was pooping green, not really runny stools, so I wasn't too worried about the runniness of the stool. That's probably the worst thing you want to look for is runny stools can be an indicator of parasites. So her stools were not runny, but they were green, and she was withering away and getting skinny. And 6 months, I tried to feed her for 6 months. She would never eat. And I meant during that whole time, I bought this microscope here. As you can see, I bought that microscope so I could do a poop exam on her and see if she had any known parasites that I could treat with medication. Well, I never got around to it. 6 months goes by and she just starts eating out of nowhere. So sometimes geckos just act weird. They go through changes. There is brumation that takes place in the wild for leopard geckos. We really don't see many effects of that in captivity. But brumation is hibernation for reptiles. So the same way that bears hibernate, go into a cave and sleep for a while, leopard geckos can do that. It's very, very rare, but it's in their biological DNA to do that because in Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, where they're from, they will go into brumation for 3 to 4 months at a time while it's cold. What's going on, Serena? We go through 40,000 mealworms every 3 months, and that number is about to increase. So I would say we go through, what is that, like 50, let's say about 15,000 meal. Oops, sorry, I don't know. We lost connection there. But we go through about 15,000 mealworms a month right now. And that cost, I would say, is probably, it's not too bad. It's about, is it really that high? $70 a month of mealworms? Let me think about that for a second. I don't think it's that high. I think it's more like $50 a month for mealworms. But we definitely go through somewhere between 10,000 to 15,000 mealworms a month just now. Just that's only having about 100 adults and about 30 something babies right now. So that's only about 150 animals total. Next year, we're about to have like, I don't know, 200 to 300 adults. So it's definitely going to increase. But all of those adults are producing babies, and that will help cover the expenses, you know. How many geckos do you have? So yeah, Reptilinks, we have about 100 adult leopard geckos and about 30 to 40 baby leopard geckos right now. And we have a lot more in the incubator to come. Like maybe somewhere between another 50 to 100 babies that we could still expect this year. Yeah, it is a lot of mealworms. Should I take the hide out of the tank because my gecko won't come out? So Juice, the kid, they like to go in the hide. So I would just leave the hide in there. If you want to hang out with your gecko, just gently pull it out of the hide. You know, I don't know if your hide has a lid or if you just pull it up. Just take it out of the hide and handle it, and then put it back into its enclosure and let it go to its safe spot. I would just leave the hide. Leave the hide alone. Pretty sure I asked this last time, but will you be going to the Phoenix Reptile Expo? Yeah, so we most of the time, Crescent, we go on Saturdays. So let me know if you're going to be there on Saturday. We typically go to our reptile shows Saturday, usually somewhere between 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning, sometimes noon. And I would love to meet you guys, say hi, and, you know, kind of take some pictures or whatever and peruse the show. But Jellybean is doing great. She is done for the year, laying eggs. I think she gave us about like 12 good eggs this year. It was crazy, and she's a first-year female. And her babies, I'm really, really looking forward to. She has this reverse stripe, a Tangerine Eclipse baby that is high orange, and the stripe is turning purple down its back. It's just really, really cool. I tried breeding mealworms, and it worked, but the amount of time that it took for me, it just wasn't worth it to me. I prefer to just buy a bunch of mealworms and store them in my fridge. So I'll show you what we do, but it's a super easy way of buying mealworms. You can buy 40,000 mealworms at a time if you need to. Each one of these tins has like 10,000 mealworms in it, and you just store the mealworms in the fridge, and that's good. Another, yeah, so just it's not that much time, right? But when you're considering all the animals that we have here, it wasn't worth it to me to breed mealworms. But I did do it. It is beneficial, but you do want to wear a mask and be careful, because mealworm shedding and mealworm poo is notorious in the hobby for giving allergic reactions to some people that are so bad that some people wind up leaving the hobby. So just be careful and wear a good quality mask. Not a dollar store mask, because that's what I tried, but go on Amazon and buy a N100 or a P100 mask and use that. Yeah, Janelle, some places don't have the reptile shows. I know Canada is not doing any reptile shows, so thankfully in America right now, we're actually still doing shows. What were you asking if it's normal, Serena? Moot. What's the best feeder to use? Personally, Moot, we like mealworms here. I only feed mealworms to my leopard geckos. There are some people that will feed super worms. There are some people that will feed dubia roaches. I fed dubia roaches one time to my leopard geckos, like only dubia roaches, and all the leopard geckos got, let's just say, large. They got really, really large. They started storing a lot of extra fat. They would get armpit fat. And so when I cut them down to just mealworms, like I've been doing for, you know, the past 3 years, all of that went away. A lot of the biggest breeders in the industry, they only do mealworms and calcium/vitamins. That's pretty much all a leopard gecko needs. I know it sounds kind of minute, but just acquired some baby dubia roaches. I want your thoughts. My thoughts on dubia roaches. Guys, Jay, I don't know if Jay is here, but Jay, you've heard me say it. Jay has bought multiple dubia roach colonies from me. Make a colony. Make a colony of dubia roaches. Not for your animals. I mean, You can have one to feed your animals. We have more colonies up there. But you can make thousands of dollars a month selling dubia roach babies to pet stores once your collection grows to thousands of breeders. So it's going to take you about a year, but if you start with just a few breeders, those breeders will start to produce for you hundreds and thousands of babies. Let those babies grow up, and those babies will grow up in 6 months to be adults, and now those adults will be producing tens of thousands of babies, and that's where the real money is at. Pet stores can't get enough of them. There is not enough dubia breeders in the country to supply the needs of the pet store. And so if you want to support your hobby so that you can spend thousands of dollars on animals, start a dubia roach colony. It will literally cost you $2 a week, maybe $10 a month to feed them, and they will bring you thousands a month or hundreds a month, depending on how many you're working with. Once that colony grows to a size where you could be selling those babies. Dubia roaches are always, always, always needed by pet stores, by bearded dragon owners, by monitor lizard owners, Aki monitor owners. They gobble it up like candy. That orange tail looks purple after he just shed. Which orange tail looks purple, Serena? What's your opinion on mixing Leo species to create healthier geckos? No, I'm actually going to make a video on that soon, Reptilinks. We work with the Fasciolatus here, the Turkmenicus, and the Afghanicus. And I can show you each one of those. I'm going to make a video on it because it is such a great idea to strengthen the bloodlines. And they have their own natural looks to them that are really cool. Like you can see, this Fasciolatus here is very snow looking. It doesn't even have pattern on its sides right there. And it's a little bit bigger than your typical Macularis. So pretty cool stuff. You know what I mean? The Turkmenicus kind of has a snow-like look to it as well. This is the Turkmenicus. You can see a very faded out snow-like appearance as well. And yes, when you crossbreed, it will strengthen the bloodlines because any defects that are... Oh, look, there's an egg right there. We're going to go 2 eggs right there. I'm gonna go get that in a little bit. Let me actually bury that. And then I'm going to come back. Yay, we got some eggs from this Turkmenicus girl. So yeah, absolutely outcrossing can and will strengthen the bloodlines. And this is an Afghanicus, which has its traditional, very, very bold and black and yellow look to it. So they each have their own phenotype, which is they each have their own specific look and characteristics. But not only that, their DNA is slightly different than the Macularis DNA. So by mixing the DNAs, it actually strengthens the bloodline of the Macularis so that the Macularis is not as inbred. And so one of the reasons that Macularis is so inbred in captivity right now is because we can't we can't import any new Macularis species from the wild because we don't have open trade with Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Turkey, all those places that these geckos are from. We can't get any new Macularis bloodlines. So that's why the Afghanicus is really important. Turkmenicus and Fasciolatus. And if you can find it, any Montanus. I don't have any Montanus yet, but that's another one. Anyway, the Fasciolatus looks the most different. Well, the Fasciolatus and the Afghanicus look the most different. And then the Turkmenicus is very unique. The Turkmenicus is actually classified as a different species. Completely. Its scientific name is Eublepharis turkmenicus. But for the Afghanicus and the Fasciolatus, they're actually classified as a subspecies of Macularis. So their scientific name is Eublepharis macularis Fasciolatus, Eublepharis macularis Afghanicus. They're actually classified as subspecies. It's really interesting. I would imagine Michigan has reptile shows. Do a search on your local Facebook groups. Search for Michigan reptile groups and then ask around your local Facebook groups if there's any shows out there. I would imagine there is. If not, maybe in a neighboring state close by. I just looked and there will be a reptile show near me. I've never been to one. They are so cool, guys. Reptile shows, go if you can. Is it normal that after my gecko shed his tail, looks like almost purple, like a bruise almost? Serena, send me a picture if you can on email or messenger. I just want to make sure it's not like a blood clot or something. But yeah, when a gecko sheds its tail, there are different colors that can appear. So he's a super hypo albino eclipse and he's 6 months old. So yeah, right now he's going through the biggest change of his life. At that 6 month mark is when his colors are changing and adapting to look their best, you know? So we only do mealworms, but we have dubias and hornworms as treats. Yeah, you can absolutely do them as treats as well. Boosters for underweight geckos. I do the same thing. So does it actually take 6 months? Yeah, so there's a lot of people that will say, you know, never breed a gecko that is less than a year old. But honestly, in our experience so far, and this might change, we're breeding a bunch of geckos this year that are only 6 months old, and they're even females, and they're like 30 to 40 grams. So we're putting together some data this year to see how well those eggs do and how well those females do. Because generally, before this year, I only bred geckos that were at least 8 to 10 months old. But this year, we actually have some geckos that are 6 to 8 months old that are breeding. And so I will report back to you guys the success or the failure of what happens with geckos that are that young. The only reason I'm breeding them that young is because they are ovulating. So if a female gecko is ovulating in the wild, that means that she would be ready to go. I mean, a male is going to come across her and try to breed her, right? So yes, we do have more control over that in captivity where I could not breed her, but I want to test it a little bit to see if it's dangerous, to see if the eggs come out infertile, and to see if, you know, to see what the results are and to report it, you know, for you guys. So, yeah, like my personal recommendation right now would be wait until the gecko is 8 to 10 months old. But we have plenty of geckos that are ovulating at 6 to 8 months old this year, and so we're test breeding that age group. How do you recommend starting out looking for pet stores who will take them? Yeah, so you can actually just call the pet stores or do a Google Map search for reptile stores and then call every single one of the reptile stores that are near you and just say, hey, I'm a dubia roach breeder. I can supply you X amount of roaches per month. They will look for small roaches, medium roaches, or large roaches. Those are the 3 different sizes that they buy. Small roaches usually sell for 5 cents a roach, medium roaches 15 cents a roach, and large roaches 20 cents a roach. Those are the typical prices. So I would try to do some research on YouTube how to create a dubia roach bucket sifting system, because you'll need a sifting system. Or you can actually post on your local Facebook groups, like your local reptile Facebook groups. I have dubia roaches, tell me what you need. And tons of people will hit you up for dubia roaches, trust me. But yeah, you can literally just call up reptile stores and tell them. I live in Arizona, but I also came in contact with people that saw my ads on Facebook. Like, I just posted on different Facebook groups that I have dubia roaches for sale, and I had people from California contacting me, Texas contacting me. So people will contact you from across the country if you got roaches, because you can ship them. That's another thing you'll need to research, and I can actually tell you how to ship them as well. Main difference between Tug, Mac, and Gem. Mac Snow has a super form. You can get super Mac Snows, which look different than actual single copy Mac Snows. Tugs don't have a super form. Gem don't have a super form. People say that there are slight differences in the way that the geckos look. I mainly work with Mac Snow only. So off the top of my head, I don't remember the exact difference between Tug Snow and Gem Snow, but they do have slightly different physical features. Like maybe one is a little bit more white or one is a little bit more purple. So try to watch my most recent video on Leopard Gecko Wiki. And if you go to leopardgeckowiki.com, it will show you everything you need to know about leopard gecko morphs. So check this out. We're going to go to Leopard Gecko Wiki. And I just made a video on this, guys. So check that out if you need to learn how to use Leopard Gecko Wiki. But you basically come to Leopard Gecko Wiki, you go to Morphs. Let's look at Tug Snow. Here's Tug Snow right here. So a Tug Snow was produced by the Urban Gecko line. So Urban Gecko is a company. The owner's name is Craig Stewart. Tug Snows come from a selectively bred wild-caught group. Stewart believes his snows are axanthic, a genetic trait where little to no yellow is produced. Tug snows are also a dominant trait. Many people have wondered if a Tug Snow bred to a Max Snow produces supers. If a Tug Snow is bred to a Max Snow, if super snows would be produced. Few breeders have in fact created super snows from Tug to Max Snow. So there's the Tug Snow definition and then the Gem Snow definition. You could also go to Facebook groups and ask people, hey, what's the difference between a Tug and a Gem? And they might have some more information for you. So Gem Snows are one of the four different types of snows. Yeah, I guess there's an Albie Snow line also that is out there. But look, this one looks pretty cool. But all snows as babies are very, very white and black contrasted. And then as they grow older, they actually do develop some yellows. So they always look best as babies. They were originally produced from Jim Holler of Reptilian Gems. Just like the other three types of snows, they hatch out while they're... What? They hatch out with a white body and black bands. As they grow older, the bands break up. So there's a little bit of information on that, not too much. So again, Leopard Gecko Wiki will be your best friend if you're just starting learning about all the different morphs. So would you recommend people be cautious at reptile shows? Yeah, I've heard about people getting mites from reptile shows, unhealthy animals. The reptile show does not do the greatest job on making sure the breeders are selling healthy animals. Basically, any breeder can go in there and just do the show. So you do want to do your research on whatever breeder you're about to buy from at the show. Also, sanitize your hands. If you touch one animal to another animal, use like alcohol sanitizer to sanitize your hands. But for the most part, most reptile shows are going to have a lot of really, really good breeders. So don't get me wrong, just be safe. I have noticed he's been getting more orange recently. That's great. Also, if it was normal, when he begins to start to look like that, he's going to shed his body starts getting white in the middle of his body. He's been getting more orange. Also, if it is normal that when he begins to start to look like that, he's going to shed. His body starts... Yeah, when their body starts getting white, they are about to shed. Can you put an albino with the snow... So you have two females that you want to house together. You can house two females together. Sometimes females will fight, but mainly males are the ones that will fight, and males and females are the ones that will fight. Two females usually don't fight, but anytime you house two geckos together, there's always a chance that they will fight. Bite off each other's tails, bite each other's arms, bite each other's bodies. I've seen some pretty bad wounds. So you just want to be careful. If your geckos are not getting along, separate them immediately. But if they are getting along, then that's perfectly fine. Yeah, geckos wearing clothes would be really cool. Unload my horses. Yeah, get the horses in there. How would I find out what morph my leopard gecko is? Janelle, send me a picture. I'll try to ID it for you. Sometimes the best way to ID a leopard gecko morph, though, is by knowing the parents. For example, if you gave me an albino leopard gecko and then told me, hey, the dad was Tremper albino and the mom was Tremper albino, then I know that that baby is Tremper albino. But if you give me a leopard gecko that's albino and you tell me, hey, the dad is Tremper albino, but the mom, I don't know what kind of albino she is, then I don't know what albino that baby is for sure. So knowing the genetics of the parents is huge. But send me an email. GeekyGeckoCreations@gmail.com, or message me on Facebook or Instagram at GeekyGeckoCreations, and I'll do my best to identify it for you and also ask you questions about the parents. Morphs don't really matter in regards to housing them. The horses, yeah, exactly. Morphs don't matter in regards to housing them together. It's simply gender. Males do not house together. Males and females house together carefully, and female to female house together carefully. If they start abusing each other or biting each other, then separate immediately would be my recommendation. Yes, reptile shops near you will buy geckos from you at a price of anywhere between $15 to $40 is what I've seen different reptile stores offer me for geckos wholesale, you know. What's, in your opinion, the top morph in leopard geckos at the moment? I think Tangerine is always going to be the top morph of leopard gecko because you can always increase the quality of the Tangerine. And then second to that would be white and yellow Tangerines. So once you have the best quality Tangerine, breed it to a white and yellow, and you will see the babies come out so cool. The best entry level geckos are blizzards and snows, because blizzards, snows, and temporary albinos are the best entry level gecko because they just create the coolest contrast for a new keeper. Like it creates immediately a gecko that is a different look than the normal gecko, and it's really, really cool. She may be a max snow. Yeah, I'll take a look, Janelle. What do you think two geckos are more likely to get along if they were raised together? I don't really know if that plays a factor into it, but it absolutely could. I house babies together here until they're juveniles. So as you saw in my gecko room, the babies are housed together until they're juveniles, and then they get separated. So as babies and juveniles, you will oftentimes see them sleeping together, lying on top of each other. It's really cute, actually. But I don't know if babies that are raised together into adulthood, from baby to adult, will be better than adults that are just put together. I would imagine so. Deductive reasoning would tell me that that is a reasonable assumption that we can make, but I can't say for sure. Sorry, Moot. And what's going on, Hector? What's going on, my man? Let me see if I could take a look at what's her name's gecko real quick. Janelle. So Janelle, I'm guessing this is your gecko right here. That does look like a snow, and the reason why I say that is because it has a little bit of a lighter effect, or a little bit of a lighter whitish appearance to it. It's very clean. The purples are very purple. The yellows are very yellow, and it's just very clean looking. Not a lot of speckling and like dirty pattern, and that is classic of the snow gene. So I don't know what the parents are, but I would say that that is a snow. Just my initial thought. I say Black Knights will get up there, and the top decent chunk of dark ones start getting sold. Yeah, for sure. There are people spending thousands of dollars on Black Knights. I get people messaging me like they just spent $2,000 on a Black Knight. That's a good sign for the Black Knight market. And a good sign for us who works with Black Knights that it is a desirable trait. We want to put Black Knight into white and yellow, Black Knight into lemon frost, Black Knight into subspecies like Turkmenicus, fasciolatus, afghanicus, Black Knight into Tangerine, Black Knight into other macularis bloodlines. So we definitely think there's a lot that can be done with the Black Knight. Very excited about that project. The young female I emailed you about that's ovulating and not eating right now is a white and yellow Tremper, 50% giant GNT, and 50% blood, 66% het eclipse. Okay, Idris. Yeah, I'll take a look at your email. Did you have a question about that, or were you just telling me the general background on it? Yeah, that is a beautiful gecko, Janelle. And that's another reason why snows are like the best entry-level gecko. They're inexpensive. You could experiment around with breeding, and they have a super form so that when you make a snow, it's fantastic. But when you make a super snow, it's even more fantastic. So it's crazy. She's very spoiled. Her middle name is Kardashian. That's funny. Yes, Black Knight into Giants. That's going to be crazy. I'm definitely thinking of how we can accomplish that in our first year here. But right now, we're kind of just taking Black Knight and breeding it to our own Black Knights to create as many Black Knights as possible. Yeah, Kardashian. I think they have a new show on Netflix. I saw getting advertised or something. Well, I guess my cat never wanted to go outside. Effie, sweetie. I want to go outside and hang out with the tegus. So the tegus are starting to go outside on a regular basis now. So as you can see, I take them. There's 5 of them. And I take all 5 of them out on a daily basis every morning. And then every evening I bring them in because it's still getting about 40 to 50 degrees at night here. High 40s. But next Thursday, guys, big moment for GeekyGeckoCreations. The nighttime low is going to hit 60 degrees, which means we can leave the tegus outside all night, and I don't have to worry about bringing them in and out. So same thing, Jacob. Do a Google search for reptile stores near me, and then call up every single one of those stores. Let them know that you are a leopard gecko breeder that wants to know if they have any interest in buying babies from you on a regular basis, and they will let you know. What is going on, Luna? Big G. We could hype up the leopard geckos now, Luna, because we're not on Wally's channel anymore. So we could talk about all the fantastic reasons why I believe leopard geckos are better than crested geckos, such as their hunters, their morphs, and their colors. No, I'm just being a little silly, but that is something that I did think about after the stream. I was like, you know, Wally made crested geckos sound really, really good, but what's one of the reasons why I gravitate towards leopard geckos? And one of the reasons why is because their natural hunting tendencies, right? Crested and gargoyle geckos, they can and they will hunt, but you don't see it as much. They're very, very more skittish hunters. With leopard geckos, they don't care. They'll bite your hand. They'll eat right out of your hand. And so it's really cool. You could watch them chase down crickets. And yeah, I'm just leopard gecko to the core for the most part. But I'm really excited about crested geckos and gargoyle geckos too as our collection grows, because I think they're so cool. If you guys have not seen Tiki's Geckos, he focuses on crested geckos for the most part and gargoyle geckos. He just showed a video today how there's actually a new morph of crested gecko, melanistic morph, that is supposedly come out. We don't know if it's a healthy line yet. Some lines are not healthy and they wind up being terminal, but let me know in the chat if my graphics are bad, because I just walked outside right now and I want to know if my graphics are bad. I'll go inside, like if the visual. Yes, she is. She's got opinions there. How difficult is it to get non-hets or separate the hidden genes from geckos through breeding? I'm not into it. Is it even possible to get the hets out? Yeah, so it's definitely possible to get the hets out. A lot of the big breeders in the industry that have been breeding geckos for 20 or 30 years, a lot of them are working on projects right now to get all the hets out so that they can have pure lines. The way that you do that is you take an animal that you believe is het, like let's say it's het for eclipse. Ooh, actually, I want to utilize, how am I going to do this? I want to utilize, thank you whoever just donated. Thank you so much. I'm going to get to your comment. I just want to utilize something real quick here. Let's see. I want to utilize this whiteboard so I can kind of show you guys stuff. So thank you so much whoever just donated right now. That's super cool. I'm going to find out who you are and I'm going to look through the messages and give you an appropriate name thank you. But right now what I'm doing is I'm cleaning off this whiteboard so that I can show you how to outcross something. And this is something that I've been wanting to do here, is come up with a setup where I can do this. So here we go. I'm gonna get this all cleaned off here, and we'll show you guys how to outcross the Hets out of something. And I can also use this as a demonstration for any genetics questions, guys. So that's another reason why I really wanted to have a whiteboard available. So thanks, Luna, for being here too. I know you're probably cleaning or feeding or doing something over there. But if you guys know or don't know who Luna Geckos is, you could check him out. He also has a very supportive, safe space for people to grow in the leopard gecko hobby. Love the guy, and we're doing a lot of collaborations together, and we'll continue to do so. So let's go into, it's not the gecko room here, but it's one of the reptile rooms. So let's show you. So let's say you have a gecko. So let's say that you have a gecko that is het for eclipse, right? So if the gecko is het for eclipse, maybe this will be better like this. So if this gecko is het for eclipse, like let's say it's 100% het for eclipse, and you want to get that eclipse out of there, you want to eliminate that, what you need to do is breed it out to geckos that you know are not eclipse for sure. So you can take any gecko that is not eclipse and you breed it to as many geckos as you can. I'm going to put no E, not eclipse, not eclipse, not eclipse. Now, all of these babies, all of the babies that are produced by these parents right here, they're all going to be what's called 50% het for eclipse. So this is year one, right? All of these babies come out. It takes 8 months to raise them until they're breeder size. You'll want to take all of these babies that are 50% het for eclipse, and now you will want to breed them to visual eclipse animals. So the best way to actually do this would be incubate for female. Incubate all of these babies to be female so that you can get 1, 2, 3, 4. So that from each one of these lineages right here, you're going to get somewhere between 6 to 10 babies. All of those babies can be bred by one visual male eclipse, a male that you know is eclipse for sure. Or if you have many geckos, like let's say you have 40 female, 50% het eclipse babies. If you have 40 of them, because you have all of these parents, you might need like 4 males to go to all 40 of those females. But you want those males to be eclipse, actual visual eclipse, so that those males can go to the vast majority of those females. And the babies, what you're going to want to look for is babies that are not eclipse. I might have just confused the heck out of you. But basically, when you breed an eclipse animal to animals that are not eclipse, they're going to pop out babies that are 50% het eclipse. But because you can't tell if the eclipse gene is in there, you need to do what's called, I guess it's called back crossing, or I don't know if there's a better term for that. But you need to test breed it to an actual gecko that is eclipse. And then if the babies do not come out eclipse, and for the most part, you want to do this for probably 2 seasons in a row, because if all the babies come out not eclipse, there's a 99% chance that whichever females produced babies that were not eclipse, there's a 99% chance that that female is not carrying the eclipse gene. But there's still a 1% chance that maybe the odds were just not in her favor that year and she didn't produce any eclipse babies, but maybe she actually is het eclipse. So you want to do this method for 2 seasons in a row, 2 to 3 seasons before you can be confident and say, hey, this female is 99.99999% sure she is not carrying the eclipse genetic. You want to have at least a test pool of somewhere between 15 to 20 babies before you say that that female is not carrying the eclipse gene or that animal is not carrying the eclipse gene. And therefore, that's going to take you 2 to 3 years to accomplish. So I know I probably missed some questions here. I forgot. Does breeding a snow to a blizzard do anything? No, you're gonna get snows. You're gonna get 50% snows and 50% blizzards. Because 50% snows and 50% het blizzards. 50% snows, but all of the babies will be 100% het blizzard. Because blizzard is a recessive gene, and so it's going to pass on one copy to all of the babies. I'm going to get a napkin to wipe off our board here. Are your sailfinch dragons doing good? Yes, they are doing fantastic. You can see them right here. I was just thinking about it today. I can't wait to get them back outside. They love taking a bath, right? Every time I spray them with this canister right here, they love just taking a bath, and they just love to be outside. I mean, look at these guys. Guys, I really want to focus on sailfins as well and just build a huge sailfin dragon collection, you know, just collect them from everywhere that I can. So they were a bit off a second ago, but it's good now. Thank you, Hector River, for donating that $4.99 to our cause over here of bringing reptiles to you. So I appreciate that so much, brother. Okay, so yeah, the quality outside might be a little bad. Yeah, poor Wally. Again, thank you so much, Hector. I appreciate every single one of you 15 people that are here right now, because that is obviously helping us grow and just helping us be a part of this community together. So I really, really appreciate that. Of course, special thanks to the people that donate. I really just want to shout you guys out because I know it's not easy. Times are not easy right now. And so I appreciate any little bit that you guys are giving for our cause over here. Can you explain how would percentages and hets go as well? Yeah, so now you guys are really taking advantage of this whiteboard. We might as well, right? So I'm going to need a napkin here. And I'm actually going to go in the gecko room to do this genetics lesson in the gecko room. Guys, if you have not seen my genetics video, also please check that out because it is a lot of detail is in those videos. And I think that it will help out tremendously. But since you guys are here live right now, we are going to show you live how to calculate some genetic odds and whatnot. And it's going to be pretty fun. So we're going to do it right up. Right up against the gecko rack. Oh yeah, this room is warm. So let's see here. All right, guys. So the question is, can you explain how percentages work? Yeah, of course, guys. You're very welcome for answering the questions. I appreciate having you guys here. I appreciate being able to teach. I love it. That's why I like doing the live streams and everything and having you guys here and being a community, a club. So can you explain percentages as well? Yeah, so let's talk about percentages real quick. Oh my gosh, it wants to move. So this is something called a Punnett square. It is used to show genetic odds or calculations for animals. So let's say the dad's location is at the top, the mom's location is on the side. That's always the way that it goes. When you're dealing with hets, you have one capital letter and one lowercase letter. So big E, little e, this E is showing that this is not the eclipse gene. This E is showing that that is the eclipse gene. So let's say you have a dad that is het eclipse. That means that he has only one copy of the eclipse gene, and it's right here. Let's say you have a mom that is also het eclipse, and she has only one copy of the eclipse gene, and it's right here. Remember, big E is the normal wild type genetics for the leopard gecko. So what you do is you drop this E from the dad and carry over this E from the mom, and you get a gecko that has no little e's at all. So this gecko is not eclipse at all. When you drop this and carry this over, it's big E, little e. The dad's little e drops down, the mom's big E carries over. Same thing here. The dad's big E drops down, the mom's little e carries over. And the dad's little e carries down, and the mom's e carries over. Here is your visual eclipse leopard gecko. Because remember, eclipse needs to have two lowercase letters to show because it is a recessive morph. So this is the only gecko out of all four of these geckos that is eclipse. So what people do is they take this box out of the equation, and now these three geckos, 1, 2, 3, now your odds are 1 out of 3 are going to be, that's 33% if you do 1 divided by 3. 1 out of 3 is not carrying the eclipse gene. 2 out of 3 are carrying the eclipse gene, which is 66%. So if you do 2 divided by 3, you get 66%. So because a recessive genetic does not show in any animal that's only carrying one copy of the gene, that animal does not look any different from a wild type animal. Because it doesn't look any different, how are you going to know if these three geckos are eclipse or not? And that's where 66% comes in. Whenever you do a het to a het, the breeder will tell you any gecko that does not come out eclipse, like actual visual eclipse, is 66% het for eclipse, which means it's also 33% het or 33% not het for eclipse based off of this one square. You see that? 1 out of these 3 squares are not het for eclipse. 2 out of the three squares are het for eclipse. So I hope that makes sense. Did I throw away my little wipe away towel? I think I did, but yeah, 30 and 25%. Anyone who's saying 30 and 25% is just being kind of crazy. Let me show you what a 50% looks like. So a 50%, I really wouldn't worry about if someone says 25 or 30%, they're just trying to up the value of their gecko. It's always 50% no matter what once you get to a certain level. So again, let's go dad, let's go mom. And I know I didn't explain that too well. Let's see if I can put words to my thoughts here. But what happened here? I feel like this thing just zoomed in on me. Did it just zoom in? I'm not sure. Let me see. Boom. Boom. There we go. So if the dad is het eclipse, see that? He has the little e, and the mom is not het eclipse, what you're going to get is 50%. See that? Those two babies are actually het eclipse, but all 4 of these babies look the same. You know, phenotypically or visually, all 4 of these babies look the same. But genotype-wise or genetically on the inside, 2 of these babies are very different than the other 2. So these 2 are not carrying the gene. These 2 are carrying the eclipse gene. That's how you get 50% het anything, is if one parent is carrying the eclipse gene and the other parent is not. That's how you get 50% anything. That's the lowest percentage you should ever consider somebody advertising a sale to you for. If somebody says that they have a gecko that is 25% het for eclipse, basically what they're telling you is they have a dad that is 50% het, and they have a mom that is 50% het, because they have not proven it out yet. They did not prove whether these hets actually exist in the animal yet. So when they breed a dad that's 50% and a mom that's 50%, what do you get when you have 50% times 50%? You're going to get 25%. So that's how you get a 25% chance of the geckos being het for eclipse, is if you take a dad that is unproven to be het eclipse and a mom that is unproven to be het eclipse, those percentages are going to go down. No problem, Rectilinks. No problem, Idris. One normal, one eclipse. One normal, want to eclipse, and the rest 66. Yeah, one of them is a normal, which you can't tell. You won't know which one is a normal. Remember, a normal looks exactly the same as a het, with the exception that sometimes hets throw what is called markers. So on an eclipse gecko, or a het eclipse gecko, sometimes you could see the tips of the toes will be white, or the tip of the tail will be white. And that's a possible indicator that your gecko is carrying one copy of the eclipse gene, but it's not for sure. So let's just make things simple. You can't tell the difference between a normal gecko and a het recessive, like a het eclipse, het albino, unless there's markers there, which are, you know, markers are debatable. They could pan out to be something, or they could pan out to be nothing. So I cleaned Thursday and Friday. Today was a crawfish boil. Yum, yum, yum. The other 3 is 66. Correct. The other 3 geckos. So one is eclipse and the other 3 geckos are 66% het eclipse. Correct. I'm getting this gecko and they're saying it's 12.5% bold. So bold stripe is a line bred trait. So check this out. So bold stripe is a line bred trait. So if you take 100% bold and you breed it times a not, let's say a 0% bold, the babies are going to be 50% of these genetics. Then if you take a 50% bold and you multiply that by a 0% or a non-bold, those babies will be 25%. Is my math right on that? I don't have a calculator present, but the odds will cut in half each time, I believe, if I'm not incorrect. And someone, if you got a calculator, do 50%. What is it? Yeah, I guess I would need a calculator in front of me. But again, 25% times, it's not 0%. It's times half, because this genetic is only getting passed on to half of the babies. Does that make sense? That's gonna be a better way to let me explain it that way. When you have a bold that goes to a non-bold leopard gecko, it's only 50% of these genetics that get passed on, and 50% of these genetics that get passed on. So technically, your baby is only going to be 50% bold. Then, if you take a baby that's 50% bold and you breed it times a non-bold, only 50% of the genetics are getting passed on, and the other 50% of the normal non-bold genetics are getting passed on, and that's where you get 25%. And then if you take a 25% gecko that is bold, you know, that's extremely like watered down now, washed down, and you breed it times a non-bold gecko, now you're going to get, what is that, 12, 13, yeah, 12. My brain is fried, but I'm pretty sure that's 12.5. And that's where the 12.5 comes in. So 3 generations later, first generation started out at 100% and then bred to a non-bold. And then those babies, which were 50%, were bred to a non-bold. And then those babies, which were 25%, were bred to a non-bold. And that's where you get your 12.5%. So you see that? Hope that helped. I'm going to bounce. See you, Crescent. Yeah, get the car ready. Oh, man, you just made me hungry right now. You just made me hungry. I might need to go get some fried chicken myself. If the gecko has multiple hets, it really gets difficult. Yeah, absolutely. But it's simply called test breeding. Reptile link. So check this out. If you have a gecko that is het, eclipse, het, tremper, het, blizzard, let's say you have a gecko that is het, all of these things, then what you'll want to do is it would be best if it was a male. If this gecko is a male, it's much easier to breed out because as a male, you can breed him to 3 females. You can breed him to a female eclipse. You could breed him to a female tremper, and you could breed him to a female blizzard, and you can see if any of the babies come out to be eclipse or tremper or blizzard. Let's say some babies pop out eclipse, then you know he's eclipse for sure. Let's say no babies pop out tremper, then you'll want to breed him one more season with a tremper girl, at least 1 to 2 more seasons to make sure that your odds just weren't bad and you just didn't happen to hit that year. And let's say that blizzard babies do pop out, then you know he's het blizzard. So between those 3 breedings, you know for sure he's het eclipse, for sure he's het blizzard, and it's possible he's het tremper. But yeah, basically it does get really messy, but that's the way to do it. On the opposite end, if you have a female that is het blizzard, or let's say possible het tremper, possible het eclipse, you would need to breed her to a male that you know for sure is blizzard, tremper, and eclipse. So you would need to breed her with a male that has 3 genetics inside of him because you're testing for 3 genetics. And one male can go to many females in one season, but one female can only go to one male per season. And so that's the problem when you're testing out females, is that you have to find males that have for sure all of those genetics in them. Or let's say you only have a blizzard male, you'll have to test for blizzard the first year. And then year 2, you'll have to get a tremper and test for tremper. Year 3, you'll have to get an eclipse and test for eclipse, and then you'll have to do it all over again 2 or 3 times. So yeah, that process does get really messy. But it's possible, and a lot of big, a lot of big breeders are doing that and working on that. So Crescent made me really hungry, so I might have to leave soon, guys. Get some dinner for the wife and I. So let me know if you got any kind of last questions. And then, yeah, I wanted to, I like when I'm able to focus on your questions. When I'm cleaning and stuff, it's like very hard to do that. So I wanted to set aside some time where I could focus on just you guys. And then tonight, after I get off the live stream, that's when I'll do the cleaning, the breeding, and all of that. I know you guys probably like it when I'm breeding or cleaning, because then I can be there for like 3 hours and my wife like answers the questions for me. But she's been getting her vaccination shots and she's not feeling too well. So that's why she's not here tonight. And she's probably going to want dinner soon. So canes kind of sounds good. I might go get some canes or something. So I really appreciate you guys. It doesn't look like there's really any more questions right now. So thank you for checking in tonight. John, what are some common reasons why leopard geckos aren't eating? Yeah, sailfins are doing pretty good, Jacob. I don't know if you saw. Rewind the video a little bit. I showed a picture of them. They're doing fantastic, growing great. They're about to go outside now once the weather warms up here in the next week. Reasons that your gecko won't eat. Breeding season. If you have multiple geckos in the room that are going into breeding season, all of those pheromones in the air chemically signal to the gecko that it's love is in the air, breeding season is in the air. And some geckos, not every gecko, some geckos will limit their food intake when they go into breeding season. Some geckos will stop eating. Most of the time the geckos will eat a little bit, like they'll eat every other week or every other meal. So continue to offer the meals. But John, I would say make sure that your gecko has a 90-degree hot side and 80-degree cool side. Make sure they have a dark, humid hide to shed in. Other than that, I had a gecko over here that did not eat for me for 6 months. I thought I had a parasite infection, but it was no problem. 6 months later, that gecko went right back onto food and has been eating just fine ever since. Sometimes geckos go through weird emotional stages or biological stages. In the wild, leopard geckos are known to brumate, where they will go into a hole and sleep for 3 to 4 months until it gets warm again over the winter months. So that's another thing that could possibly be affecting your leopard gecko. In captivity, our leopard geckos really don't go into brumation, but it's possible that maybe biologically that's happening. Message me privately, GeekyGeckoCreations@gmail.com. I want to keep up with you about it. I know a lot of people have been asking me that question. Why is my leopard gecko not eating? So it could be breeding season, number 1. Temperatures are off, number 2. Number 3, maybe the gecko is going into like a brumation state. And number 4 is the unknown, right? I don't know why that gecko for me did not eat for 6 months. It's an unknown reason. The gecko was getting skinnier and skinnier and skinnier to the point where I thought the gecko was going to die, honestly, but it didn't die. And so a lot of times, my friend, my best advice would be continue to feed, make sure the temperatures are okay, make sure it has a hide, and try not to worry. Try not to worry. Got to figure this one out soon. So if it isn't too long for the vid, I'll be breeding a white and yellow Max Snow Bell. Yeah, so white and yellows are great. It is white and yellow is a dominant gene. White and yellow is a dominant gene, meaning that if the dad is white and yellow and he's carrying one copy and the mom is sorry. Let's represent this by an N. Normal. So the mom is a normal. She's not carrying any white and yellow. The dad is a white and yellow. He's carrying one copy of the white and yellow. Right here, this baby will be white and yellow. This baby will be white and yellow. This baby will not be white and yellow. This baby will not be white and yellow. So if he's carrying one copy of the white and yellow gene, I could even change this to an N. No white and yellow. NN, no, no. NN, no, no. WN, yes. WN, yes. 50% of your babies are going to be white and yellow when you breed a white and yellow to a non-white and yellow animal. So I hope that made sense. And there's still a lot more that needs to be known about white and yellows, because technically, let's say you have a dad that is one copy of the white and yellow and a mom that is as well, right? So technically, you should get what's called a super form of the white and yellow right here, where an animal is carrying 2 copies of the gene. I have yet to experiment with this in my own collection, but other breeders have told me they've never experienced a white and yellow that has 2 copies. The significance of 2 copies is that if you have one gecko that is white and yellow carrying 2 copies and a mom that is not white and yellow carrying no copies, all of the babies would be carrying a W, which means all of the babies would be 100% carrying 1 copy of the white and yellow gene. But they're saying that that's not the case. So I'm putting together some data to show if that is the case or not. But we're going to find out, you know, if that's the way it works or not. But from what I'm hearing right now, when you take a white and yellow and breed it to another white and yellow, it actually doesn't create a super form, or it doesn't create a gecko that carries 2 copies of the gene, which is really interesting. But I appreciate it, Jake. Thank you so much, my friend. You stay Gucci as well. My throat's a little bit sore. I know my wife's probably hungry, so I'm going to go get her some food. But I appreciate you guys so much. Message me at GeekyGeckoCreations@gmail.com or message me on Facebook or Instagram if you have any questions that I did not get to today or that I accidentally missed. I will try to do I try to do live streams as much as possible, and also recommend some video topics to me in the comments below, because I have a whole list of video topics that I plan on hitting up as well. Check out our latest videos. We have some really good topics on how do you know all leopard gecko morphs? How do you know ovulations? How do you know how long your eggs are going to take to hatch? Some really good stuff. Again, thank you to all the donations that people gave during this live stream. Jim, what's going on, Jim? Thank you so much, brother. Have a good night, you guys. I don't know if I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow, but ring the notification bell, because if I do, I usually create a poll or a post and I let you know earlier on in the day, hey, I'm thinking of doing a live stream tonight, guys. Do you want to do a live stream? And if the majority of you answer yes, then I will do a live stream. So again, my goal is to do live streams 2 to 3 times a week for you guys and to create 2 to 3 videos a week for you guys. So thank you guys so much. Love, love, love you guys. I appreciate you guys being in the hobby and being a supporter of Geeky Gecko Creations. Thank you so much. Pray for my wife. She's not feeling too well after the vaccinations. I'm going to go get her some food right now. So love and peace to you guys. I appreciate it so much, and I will see you guys soon. Check you guys out in the next video. Bye.